Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with the Spain News Update, and some autonomous communities here in Spain are wondering what they'll be able to do if COVID cases skyrocket. But more about that in just a moment. Firstly, a big thanks to all of the people that left comments on the last video. Lots of comments, lots of debate happening there as usual. Thanks to people that supported the channel through a donation or by buying me a beer or a coffee. Thanks to people that bought merchandise, and a big thanks to my patrons on Patreon for your continuous support. Now, let's get into the news. And as I said, a couple of autonomous communities here in Spain, mainly in the north of the country, are asking the question what they're going to be able to do if COVID-19 cases again rise sharply. And as we can see here, after the end of face masks, Asturias gives the first warnings what if the number of cases skyrockets. Saying goodbye to the mask indoors is one of those gestures that mark a before and after, an important indicator that the pandemic is no longer what it used to be. However, COVID has given us too many scares to be sure that it is a thing of the past. For many experts, the removal of measures has gone too fast in recent times, and there is a danger of a more serious upsurge than previously thought. In fact, almost at the same time as the national ban on the use of masks was lifted, the government of Asturias sent out the opposite message by recommending its continued use as long as the autonomous community maintains the current epidemiological situation. So, there we go. As we saw, according to some experts, we are moving too fast here in Spain when it comes to removing restrictions, and the autonomous community of Asturias recommending that people continue to wear a mask indoors. Now, another autonomous community here in Spain, Andalusia, will soon be preparing for local elections. An Andalusian Premier, Juan Manuel Moreno, has confirmed that he will call elections there before the summer. The president of the junta, Juan Manuel Moreno, has assured this Sunday that Andalusia needs a budget for 2023, which leads him irremediably to call elections before the summer, although he has not specified the date of the elections. Moreno, who attended the pilgrimage of the Virgen de la Cabeza in Jaén, told reporters that he has spent many weeks reflecting on the elections and continues to do so. It is clear that the legislature is over, and what we have to do now is make a decision that is good for Andalusia, he declared. And let's be honest, the elections in Andalusia will be very, very interesting indeed, given the current political situation in Spain. Some parties are going up, won't mention any names, and some parties are going down. Now, the Catalonian Spygate controversy continues to make headlines. We saw last week how various Catalonian independence politicians found spyware in their phones and blamed the central government in Madrid. And as a result, the central government has committed to clarifying Catalangate with an internal control of the CNI. The Minister of the Presidency, Felix Bolaños, has assured that the government is committed to clarifying the alleged spying on pro-independence supporters with the opening of an internal control mechanism of the National Intelligence Centre, CNI, and 3 other mechanisms. He said this after the meeting he held on Sunday, the 24th of April, with the Generalitat's councillor, Laura Biligrà, who left the meeting threatening serious consequences for the stability of the government. So we'll see if the central government can clarify exactly what went on with that spyware, because as we saw, the Catalans are not happy. Now, if there are 2 things that stand out here in Spain, it's the amount of pensioners and the amount of public servants. And according to one newspaper, this situation is unsustainable. Because as we can see from this headline from the newspaper El Mundo, the unmanageable bill, Spain now spends more than 300 billion a year on public pensions and salaries. Spending on pensions and public salaries continues to rise sharply, so much so that the bill is becoming increasingly unaffordable for the state and therefore for the workers who have to finance it, and it is doing so even before the effect of inflation begins to be felt with any real intensity. At the end of 2021, the combined expenditure on pensions and contributory benefits and the remuneration of civil servants and public workers exceeded 300 billion euros for the first time in history. Specifically, it reached 307.9 billion euros according to the budget execution data of the Intervención General del Estado and the Ministry of Social Security. To put it in perspective, the figure represents 25% of Spain's entire GDP. So there we go, and yes, you heard it correctly. 25% of Spain's GDP goes on pensions and public servant salaries, and in cash a whopping 300 billion euros a year. Now, we all know that Spain has a serious depopulation problem in some parts of the country, and there are thousands of villages around Spain that risk disappearing altogether. As we can see here, Spain's villages at risk of disappearing. Arenas del Rey in Granada had 1,979 inhabitants in the year 2000. By 2021, its population had fallen to 624. Samoral in Salamanca had 327. Now there are barely 124. Barjas in Leon has seen its population fall from 403 to 167. Villar de Humo in Cuenca had 466 inhabitants. Today there are barely more than 170. These are just a few examples of a Spain in agony, despite the fact that the population of our country has increased by 7 million since the year 2000. 60% of the municipalities have lost inhabitants. Almost 40% have lost more than 20%. And if we have a look at a map to see exactly where some of these villages at risk of disappearing are here in Spain, we can see that the two Castillas, Castilla y León and Castilla-La Mancha, have a lot, Extremadura also, and Galicia too has many villages at risk of disappearing. So in 10, 20 or 30 years' time, most likely a lot of those villages that we saw there in red will no longer exist. Now let's have a look at some of the comments from previous videos. One here from Ms. SDN. Sometimes it appears that Spain doesn't want people to visit. How can they check how much money we have? We don't bring €100 a day in cash for our visit. We've chosen Turkey and Greece this year over Spain. Yeah, Ms. DN, thanks for the comment, and obviously referring to something that we saw in yesterday's live stream about how Spain may ask you to prove that you have €100 per day if you come here on holidays. But as I said in yesterday's live stream, I don't think that this rule is anything new. And many other European countries, for example France, also have a similar rule in place. In fact, in France, I believe you need to prove that you have €125 per day. I said in yesterday's live stream that when I first went to the UK from Australia back in the 1990s, I had to prove that I had a certain amount of money on me during my time there. So rules like this are nothing new. And how can they check how much money you have? Well, you might have to show them your bank account. One here from Mad Planet. Hi Stu, nice topic for another show. UK travellers have to prove that they have €100 per day to enter Spain. Very childish, as UK stipulate none of this for Spanish entering the UK. Punishment for Brexit? Yeah, Mad Planet, thanks for the comment, and no, I don't think that it is punishment for Brexit. As I said before, I don't think that this €100 per day rule is anything new, but because the UK is now classified as a third country here in the European Union, these rules now apply. They didn't before because obviously you had freedom of movement, but now, as we know, post-Brexit, the game has changed. So punishment for Brexit, no, I don't think that is the case, but a post-Brexit reality, yes. One here from David. I ordered a small part for my car 1 inch square from the UK to Spain. It cost €15. After postage, the added tax, when I picked it up from the Correos office, it came to €45 total. Tax was more than the part. Won't be buying from the UK again. Import tax is a rip-off. Yeah, David, thanks for the comment, and also referring to something that was mentioned in yesterday's live stream. The fact that people have to pay import duties when things are sent to Spain from outside the European Union. This is a problem that I have been dealing with for a long time now. Every time my mother sent me something from Australia, I had to pay a lot of money to get it out of the post office. And basically it's got to the stage where my mother doesn't send anything anymore. So if, for example, my son has a birthday and my mum wants to send him a present, she buys it online from a European Union website. So another post-Brexit reality, with the UK now being classified as a third country in the eyes of the EU. One here from Chris. Only ever been to one Ruta de la Tapa. We got a stamp for every bar we visited. Those that visited them all were entered into a prize draw. I ended up winning first prize, the only giddy 2, 3 nights in a lovely hotel in Granada. Problem was, it had to be used within 6 months and I couldn't get the days off work and had to give my prize away. Wish I'd won second prize, it was an iPad. Yeah, Chris, thanks for the comment, and the tapas route you went on sounds very similar to the one that I went on at the weekend. The only difference being that QR codes have replaced the stamps that you used to get, and this is because of COVID. And another difference is that the prizes that were offered on your tapas route were a lot better than the ones that were offered here. But apart from that, a fairly similar event. One here from Russell. Hi Stuart, we've got a house in Menorca and we intend to visit it more often. Now as we are from the UK, we fall under the 90 days in Europe. Are they hot if you overstay? Yeah, Russell, thanks for the comment, and to be honest, I have absolutely no idea if the authorities are hot or not when it comes to overstaying that 90-day rule. But what I'll do is open your question up to the community and find out if anybody has been in a similar situation. So ask Spanish authorities hot when it comes to enforcing this 90-day rule, and what are some of the penalties? Please let us know in the comment section below. And finally, one here from Paul Gerard. Hi Stuart, I am pleased that you blocked the people that are out of order. There are enough problems in this world. Keep up the good work. Yeah, Paul Gerard, thanks for the comment and referring to the chat section in one of last week's live streams that got a little bit out of control. The debate in the chat section overheated and a couple of people lost their manners. And as a result, I had to ban them. Everybody is entitled to an opinion, and as we know, there are many, many opinions out there. But when you get angry and start abusing people in the chat section, that's when you get banned. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.